let's be serious for 1 minute. Our prisons are in a right state. I asked the Justice Secretary a question this week in Parliament. This is a question, and this is the response. It's been reported in the media that we have prison officers working in our prisons that can barely speak a word of English. In fact, they're using flashcards to instruct prisoners to go back to the cell. Now, you don't have to be a mastermind to realise that this is a recipe for disaster. So can the Justice Secretary please tell me if this is true or not?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I visit prisons regularly in this job, and I pay tribute to the incredible work that prison officers do day in, day out, including prison officers who come from other countries who do sterling work, making sure that our prisons are safe in appalling circumstances. And so I thank them for their work, and I reject the premise of the question.
This important interruption is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Protect your money and your identity. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code here to get ExpressVPN right now and save up to 73% on annual plans today. Right, let's get back into it.
Well, there you go, guys. Lara, we've got a situation now. This is how bad it is. And most people in the street wouldn't believe you if you told them we had prison guards in our prisons that couldn't speak a word of English. What's going on?
So what's happened here? I mean, this is appalling. This is one of the most important jobs that you can do, and like everything, like care, like doctors, we've farmed it out and shipped it out. But basically, because the government don't want to increase the wages paid for prison staff, they've instead put them on the shortest occupation list and awarded loads of skilled visas to people with almost no English qualifications. There's now multiple insider reports that prison officers are using flashcards, as you say, that they have a very, very basic grasp of English, that they're going to be directed to what to do. And then we're wondering why in the last year wrongful releases have gone up 138%. Of course they have. If you can't speak English, you can't read a form, you can't read don't release or, send on the bus to lawyer. And that's what's happening. And this is a clear consequence of cheap policy that prices foreign labour for low wages over British people who have skills.
So now the Mr. Settled, Andy, would you like to explain this for us?
I think I agree with Lara there, that we should be paying British workers better, and we should, instead of trying to get around on skilled visa payments, I think we should be paying our British workers better. So I'm glad there's some consensus in the gap between these two tables. But looking at prisons, I think some of it is the Labour government's fault, but you can't just blame them. Prisons have been a mess for decades. The last Tory government, they only created 1,000 net new places in prison. 1,000 over 15 years, that's less than 100 a year. They didn't take it seriously. The operating capacity of these prisons has been an above unsafe level for years and years and years. The Tory government haven't taken it seriously. The Ministry of Justice are looking to make the systems more digitised to ensure that it doesn't come down to human error now.
Is it acceptable to have people working in our prisons that can barely speak a word of English?
No.
There you go, Lara. Agreement.
Yeah, I mean, that's something. But Andy, I'm sorry. I know it's very fun to get into government and do nothing and blame the Conservatives constantly. But, look at the data on wrongful prison release. Yep. We've gone up 138% in 2025. That is a Labour problem.
It's bad and it's wrong. They're addressing it. They are addressing it.
How? What's happening?
They're commissioning a review on the release system. They're commissioning a digitisation review to ensure that it's not down to human error. That's fixing the problem.
It will still be down to human error.
Well, no, it won't.
It'll
be a digital process. The Tories refuse to have any kind of innovation in the prison.
At what stage, Andy?
Refuse to build prisons.
Serious question.
To update our capacity for years.
Serious question, Andy. When are people like you, who sit in that corner every single week, going to stop blaming all the problems in this country on 14 years of Tory rule?
I think fundamentally, those 14 years of austerity cuts, of underfunding public services, of lack of wage growth, of lack of economic growth...
So what's the point in a Labour government then?
When does that impact stop happening? I think, give it at least 2 or 3 years. Genuinely. So it takes time to have system impact, Lee. You'll know this, if reform gets into...
Do you want 2 or 3 more years of this?
Hey,
please reduce it. Please reduce your aggressive
I'm sorry.
attitude.
He's the plumber that you call when your boiler's broken, and rather than fixing it, he just goes, bad job. I'm not interested.
Every time you're online, your money and your identity are at risk. Scams now make up nearly 40% of all crime in the UK. That's thousands of attacks every single day. In Britain, someone has their identity stolen every 2 minutes, leaving victims with wrecked finances and years of stress. The threat is real, and you could be next. ExpressVPN is your shield against criminals. It locks down your devices, hiding your personal information and financial details from hackers, scammers, and anyone else looking to exploit you. So whether you're checking your bank, shopping, or just browsing, ExpressVPN makes you invisible to prying eyes trying to steal your money and your identity. ExpressVPN shields your data with military-grade AES 256 encryption. That's the same standard trusted by the US government to guard classified information. This is the highest level of online security you can get. So don't wait for disaster. Secure up to 14 devices at once and get powerful password protection. Real support is available 24/7 because cybercrime never sleeps. Save up to 73% on annual plans today. Every moment you hesitate is another moment you're exposed. Protect your money and protect your identity. Get ExpressVPN right now.
I mean, if Labour had said in the general election, oh, you know, vote us in, but we can't fix any of this because it's actually really messed
it does
up.
take time.
No one would have
It
voted
takes
for them.
time.
3 years to fix stuff. And please explain to me why things in prisons have got so much dramatically worse in the last year when those cuts date back to 2017.
Yeah, that's a reasonable question, isn't it? Why has it got worse?
Well, lots of things have been getting worse since 2017 across the prison estate. Yes,
A
they have.
138% increase in mistaken releases.
Yeah.
In the last year?
It's bad.
In the last year.
I've condemned it, Lee. How many times do you want me to condemn it?
No, Andy, I don't want you to condemn it. I want to know why it's got so bad.
I don't know, you'd have to ask the Ministry of Justice. Unfortunately, I don't work for the Ministry of Justice. I can tell you that the prison estate has been working at unsafe capacity for years. There's been basically no new prison places, basically no new prisons built in the last 20, 25 years. The prison estate has not been taken seriously as a priority by Tory or Labour governments for decades.
Oh, a bit of an admission there, Lara.
I mean, he's right, those are big problems, but those don't explain why mistaken releases suddenly jumped up in the last year. And I would say the fact that we put this job on the short occupation list and not offering skilled visas
how the hell are people being released from prison? I mean, have they got flashcards at the gate saying, escapees, come this way now? Have they got those, you think, Lara? It's ridiculous.
I mean, they might do. The most bizarre thing is we don't even know who's got out of prison. Yeah. David Lammy thinks it's around 4. Go check their cells. I would really like to know.
Yeah, have a look in the cell, see if he's in bed.
In fairness, I don't think David Lammy is there in HMP Wandsworth, you know, signing him out and, you know, patrolling the corridors. I think it's a bit unfair to place all the blame on him. I think this is a prison estate issue.
He's not here to defend himself, is David Lammy, but do you think he's up to the job?
I think so, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was absolutely. I think he was a young barrister. He has massive experience in judicial reviews, legislative papers. Yeah, absolutely.
Lara, you concur?
He's extremely unimpressive. He's made a bad hash of the foreign secretary job. Now he's doing the same with justice. He's out of his depth, no clue what he's doing.
Andy, more deterrence, do you think? Because one of my big beefs, if you like, is I think we could control the prison population if the deterrence to crime were much harsher.
I think that's probably one part of it. I think it's a Swiss cheese solution. I think you've got to do quite a few things, and between them all, the situation will get better.
What does that mean, Swiss cheese solution? Are you okay?
Well, it's you know, you'd have to make stronger deterrence. You'd have to build more prisons. You'd have to increase capacity. You know, it's not just one single fix. It's like illegal immigration. You've got to have several different things that will come together to fix the problem.
Sounds like several excuses there, Laura.
Well, no, I mean, would reform build more prisons? If you were in power?
Well,
shadow work and pension spokesman?
I would like to see, Andy, stronger deterrence, harsher prison sentences, and people prosecuted. For example, shoplifters. It's a slap on the wrist. They're not even charged anymore. We've got to prosecute every single crime.
So when your prison capacity is at 98%, you're going to put people in for longer?
Well, I'll tell you what we could do straight away. We've got 10,000 foreign prisoners in our jails. We could ship them back 10,000 places overnight, Laura, straight away.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem here is that you've got people with 40 to 50 offences who aren't going to prison.
Yeah.
So they're going crime after crime after crime. When they eventually get sentenced for a couple of weeks, maybe a few months, nothing meaningfully changes. We do need more prison capacity, I agree about that, but we need far harsher sentences before we even get there.
Yeah. Andy?
I agree. I think that through historic underfunding, whether it's the Tories or the last Labour government back in the early 2000s, I don't think community safety and those kind of early, you know, I don't want to go on the whole kind of jangle about, you know, community centres and youth centres, but I think youth interventions are an important part.
You can understand why people in other countries are looking at us now thinking we're a bit of a laughing stock. We've got people walking out of prisons We're deporting people back to France, and then a week later they're jumping on a dinghy and coming back. And, you know, we've got these awful criminals that are coming in the country, being locked up, being deported. I mean, we're an absolute laughingstock.
Well, I think, you know, not every country is great. In the US, you've got these ICE fascists who are arresting American citizens and trying to deport them. You know, I don't think the US is any better than us.
I think the judgment's a bit clouded.
I don't think they are. I don't think the fascism.
We're not talking about the US. We're talking about the UK.
When your man Donald Trump comes and criticises David Lammy, I don't think he's. In a position.
I tell you what. I might as well talk to that point. What do you think, Lara?
It's very sad right now, but it's difficult to have a high view of the UK. And I do fear about the perception of our government when people know we can't even be able to keep people in prison.
What's the perception of...
And if you was the Justice Secretary for... God
be in
forbid,
trouble.
God forbid, yeah. If you was the Justice Secretary for 1 week, what would you do? What would be your priorities?
I'd commission building at least 15 new prisons. I think it's a capacity issue. Absolutely. We're running at 98% capacity in our prisons. The system is under strain. We need to commission new prisons and digitise the systems
but do you
to remove that human error.
But do you think if the deterrents were harsher, people would stop committing as many crimes?
Probably. But I don't think that's the single issue, because if the deterrents are harder, then you're going to have an increased prison population. You know, you're going to increase the length that people are in prison. So you've still got that capacity
temporarily,
issue. You've still got the capacity issue if you increase the sentences.
But it's interesting what you said, Lara. You know, with the sentencing, people, if they had harsher sentences, they would stop committing crimes. Because let's be honest, if you're in prison, you can't commit crimes outside, can you?
I think
very simple.
Yeah, it's very simple. The majority of crimes are committed by a very small group of people, ultra-prolific offenders. If you put those people in prison for their first offence or their second, they can't commit 45 more. I think that's the key to getting justice under control. Yeah,
and we get it in my community, and you know Ashfield quite well. We have prolific shoplifters, and eventually the police will do their job and they'll send them to Lincoln or wherever they're going to go, and the shoplifting in the area plummets, because not only are they in prison, they're not out thieving.
Yeah, I think the Nottinghamshire Police and Crime Commissioner, the Labour Police and Crime Commissioner, is doing a great job.
What's that person's name?
It's Gary Smith, isn't it?
Is it Gary Smith?
It's not. No, that's the General Secretary of the GMB. It's Gary something.
Yeah, your Labour representative on the programme doesn't even know.
In fairness, I don't represent the Labour Party. I'm just a member of the Labour.
So